Io bendisazi okokuba abantu bayabhala nyhani page 3 apho ufundela khona ukuthi uyayikhumbula le nto yabuzwa yona apho.
What he said in response to my question on Friday was that Mr. Bongo had told you on the phone on the 12th of August that there had been an attempt to invade the land offices, but you'd not gotten any details. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Uyawasho okokuba ukufonela sayile ukungabacela ukuba kuye kwaba khona inzame zokuhlasela i-office.
But let me explain. The reason why he's calling was not to deal with the issue of the level. It was to deal with the fact that a group of people were marching towards the enemy office.
Injongo yakhe yokufowuna bekwangazizehlakalo zom-I-11 wayengicela okokuba kuthiwa kukhona abantu abamashayo besize ofisini leyo.
But he did mention that the search was not the first as the previous day there was the search, and we never went into details what happened the previous day.
Asizange singene-ke kulona ngaphandle kokuthi uyangicela uba naphezolo kuye kwabakho inzame zokwenza le nto.
Now, despite having received that information from Mr. Bongo, you took no steps on the 12th to find out what in fact had happened. Is that correct?
Noko siyifumeneke loo ntetho kubonga uzange wenze inzame zokuzama ukutholisisa ukuba yintoni kakulethe yenzekile.
My answer on Friday, and I will repeat it again, was that when I arrived on the scene on the 12th, I believed Comrade Bongo or any other leaders of the branch were already in hiding, and what was pressing at that time was the risk of more lives being lost. Hence, I spent my time with the company trying to look at measures we can increase police presence so that no more lives were lost.
Njengoba nditshilo-ke xa ndifika phaya ngomhla ka-12 kuJuni ndifumana okokuba abaholide emabaninzi phaya naye umhlekazi lowo ubongo ongasekho bese basusiwe apho bayiswe endaweni enokhuselo. Ngakho ndazama ukubonisana nemanagement okokuba makwenziwe inzame xa ndize ndiveza nokokuba makwandise ubukhoyo bamapolisa.
So the answer to the question is no.
Impendulo yakho ithi awuzange.
I couldn't understand the question because I'm saying that Mr. Paul, the late Comrade Bongo explained and other officers of the branch were not on the scene as they had been compelled to run away from their lives. For Bongo to raise the on the phone, he was not there when I arrived.
Bendikhona ngefowuni ngubongo.
The answer to the question Council asked you is no, but you've given an explanation for that answer.
Yes.
So I think we can now move on. You can now proceed to your next question.
Ngazele ndiyinikezele ukuthi umuntu obenzayo lonxiba ubongo xa ndifika phaya ndifumene naye sekuzimelele.
And you also took no steps on the 12th of August to find out what your local NUM leader's attitude was to the RDO strike, did you?
Awuzange wenze nzame ufumana okokuba abaholi benum phaya
That's explanation again. They weren't there. They were in the house. They couldn't.
uyamxelela ngokuchwephesela ukuba bebengekho nje aba bantu bezawuthetha nabo.
On an issue that you know.
Well, you did meet, but on your own version, sir, you did meet with shop stewards on the 12th of August, isn't that correct?
I tried to show you on Friday how different our structures are. And I showed you that the shop stewards are leaders who are vetted at a workplace, and the leaders who take decisions in a branch will be members of the branch committee. And the question that on the day of my arrival, 9 of the branch committee members were present. And hence they then gone to, they were hiding.
Uthi umama kuye andithi uwe oveze okokuba wathetha neshop steward apho ukuthi mhlekazi ndiye ndazama ukuchazela okokuba istructure zethu zime kanjani. Shop steward ngaba bantu abaphaya abakhethe phaya emsebenzini kodwa ke abaphethe branch officials zezi endithetha ngazo ebesizekuzimeleni bendingokwazi ukuthi ndithethe nazo ngale nto le.
Now, on the 12th of August, you had a meeting with London management, is that correct?
Yes.
Ewe ndaba nayo imithi management yeloo meeting.
Surely at that meeting with London management, you should have suggested that all the trade unions come together with London management and attempt to establish the
Sorry, Chairperson, maybe if she can assist me to understand which unions I'm referring to.
All the unions that were not of interest in the matter.
Let me explain that, Chairperson. Relevant steps are taken. As a result, already 2 lives have been lost. With the possibility of more being lost, if you read the statement of the security Mtuhelwa as to what was happening on the day. Page 94. I was expected to be a short list of other unions. I think those unions had a chance to prevail if they were concerned happening on the day. With due respect, Chairperson, I want to present NUM to make sure that NUM can do to reduce any further damage. I was not going to say to management, why are you not? They didn't manage me to raise that on their behalf.
We know that what you did do on the 12th of August, Mr. Sequoia, was phone the police. Is that correct?
Yes, I said that in my view and in terms of what was given by the company, that only the presence of the SAPS with the necessary skills in crime control would assist. And they were telling me how frustrated they were. And if you read the statement of the witness, spoken to her, he will tell you of their frustrations that they were not back from the police. The reason why I called because I would say that if nothing was done to increase the police, and I came back as an NUM person, not on behalf of other unions.
into eyayibakhathaza kakhulu ukuba amapolisa abengayenzi ngokufanele. Ndathi ke mna xa kungandiswa amapolisa afundisiwe anamava okulawula izixholoxholo enjengalezi ingababhetele.
I'd like you to tell us, sir, about those phone calls that you made on that day. You said that you phoned the office of the Provincial Commissioner. Is that correct?
Andithi wafonela i-provincial commissioner ngaloo mini.
That is in my statement, yes.
Statement sakho.
Who did you speak to?
Wathetha nabantu.
Given the situation, I couldn't remember who I spoke to. Whoever I spoke to did not give me an answer.
bekuzaba ngabo abamapolisa bekufanele benze isigqibo sokuba abantu abangakanani abangajongana nabo.
You then phoned the Minister of Police directly, is that correct?
Esifonela kuminister wamapolisa ijongisa kuyifoni. Ndanika inamba ye-office lakhe ndafowuna khona ndafumana omnye wabuya ke uminister.
What did you ask the Minister of Police to do?
Wamcela ukwenza ntoni ke uminister wamapolisa. Ndamxelela into eyenzeka phandle ngoba i-management ibindixelela ukuba kukhona abantu abasebaswelekile imeko imaxongo phaya, kungenzeka kusweleke nabanye abantu nokuphulwa nokumoshoko phaa.
How long was your call with the Minister?
Call yakho yathatha ixesha elingakanani nominister? Kodwa ke njengoba ndisitsho nje ndamnika ingxelo le iphelele, ungacinga wena ukuba ixesha elingakanani.
Assist us, Mr. Sipani, give us an estimate.
Makazi umsizokwana ukuba ungabeki ungapha. Ndithi mna
I think what she wants to know is, was it a fairly short conversation, or one that can't be described as short, but I'm not exactly sure where she's getting with the question, but I'm sure she has a reason for asking, so I'm not going to disallow the question. Was it long in attendance?
imzuzu emininzi ukugqitha ku-10 uthi ke umhlekazi akazi okokuba buza lo mbuzo ujonge ntoni umabhansi, kodwa ke ingxelo ayizange ibe yimfutshane ngolo hlobo.
And what did the Minister say he would do?
Wathini kuminister ukuba yena uzakwenza ntoni? Wandithembisa okokuba ayothetha nezinye izikhulu apha emapoliseni, uyenza eso sigqibo ukuba ayothetha nobani. Ndandingakwazi mna ukuba ndimxele ukuba athethe nobani.
Were you satisfied after you spoke to him that action would be taken?
Woneliswayo ka emva kokuba uthethe naye okokuba hayi kukho amagama azawuthatha. Njengomntu endimethembayo uminister ndava nenyanzeko ukuba kuzawuthatha izinyathelo ezifanele.
And the information that you gave to the Minister was the information that you'd received from London about what had happened on the 12th of August, is that correct?
Andithi le report wayenza kuminister ingxelo leyo iripoti oyifumene kwaloo management ngaloo. Ndithe kuwe ndafumana ingxelo evela kwi-shop steward sethu phaya, ndafumana enye yayivela ku-management. Enye ke into ndamxelela okokuba sekubulewe ii-security officers ezimbini.
You didn't tell the Minister anything about what had happened on the 11th because you didn't know anything about what had happened on the 11th, is that correct?
Awumxelanga ke sakuhlakalo mhlaka 11 ngoba ungenalwazi ngaloo. ndifika phaya ndamfumana angasekho sahambile ngako andizange ndifumane ngxelo kuye. Into endandiyithetha nominister yimeko eyayikhona phaya nge-12 ndamxelela nokuba sekho i-security officers ezimbili eziswelekile.
And let me say that, Chairperson, the question. I did inform the Minister of the issues of the letter, and that did inform of the briefing I received.
Andizange ndithethe nominister ke ngxelo ye-11 ngoba kwakungeyona irekhodi ndandiyifumene apha ngaloo.
And we know that the SAFM interview, and we'll get to that in a moment, took place on the 15th, Wednesday the 15th of August. Is that correct?
Andithi ke le ntetho yabakhona ne-SAFM yaba ngomhla ka-15.
That's correct, yes.
Ewe.
So from the 12th to the 15th, you took no steps to find out what happened at the number offices on Saturday the 11th. Is that correct?
Suka ngomhla ka-12 kude kube si-15 akukho nzame wazenza okokuba ufumane inyaniso ukuba kwenzeke ntoni nge-11 phaya ofisini le-NUM.
The same evening of the day I was in Marikana, concerning my concerns, one of the leaders, Mr. Mapabebe, was killed that night, and a number of other incidents happened, including the murder of other leaders of NUM. So, I was trying to find what to be done, including the killing of the two police by the same people. So, I did not deal with the 11 until the 15th. It was raised to me as a question by an accusation by the leader of FAM.
Andizange ndingene gqitha kwinto yamhla ka-11 ngoba kwakwenzeka izinto ezininzi ngexesha elilodwa phaya. Omnye wamalungu ethu umhlekazi uMabele wayesebulewe kwabulawa ii-security officers ezimbini kwenzeka yonke le nto. Le ngxelo ndive ngokugcwele xa ivezwa ngumrholi we-AMCU nge-15 phaya kule ngxelo sasinayo kwi-SAFM.
During the time from the 12th to the 15th of August, you also didn't find out what your local branch's attitude was to the audio strike, did you?
Awuzange ufune ukwazi ke phakathi kwale mini phaka-12 kude kube 15 okokuba ibranch yakho yaphaya ibona ngoluphi uhlobo le nto ye-articles nemivuzo yazo.
It would be difficult for a person to look at such a matter when you were receiving reports that the Transcript committee members were in hiding. Allegations of list of to Marikana, people had been killed already. It would be difficult for you to begin to look at what would have been the issue of. And I've said that at that time, the branch committee was not available for anybody to inquire whether this issue you are raising was a real issue. But
Ekunzima okokuba umuntu angene kulezo zinto zemivuzo nayo yonke le nto. Kwasekwenzeke apha isimo esasimanzonzonyana sekusweleke abantu kukho abantu kufuze babulawe yonke le nto ibisenzeka. Nantso into besijongene nayo ngelo xesha.
But surely, sir, you could have found your branch committee members, and if you had, they would have told you what they'd said to the RTOs, and you would have established that they'd given them incorrect advice. Isn't that correct?
Andithi kuzokwazi ukuba ubafowunele aba benu bakuxelele ukuba kwenzeke yini ubone okokuba le information babanike yona i-wrong.
you can tell senior counsel if the branch committee was available to meet with me. And the branch you referred to, they were all hiding, and the affairs were not unfounded as a result of those who were unable to run before killed. You understand the situation we're in as a union.
Manditsho okokuba njenge-union ke sasiphantsi kwale meko le. Uzawubona okokuba njengoba sendingenaphendula apha kuko ukuba abo bantu ndithetha ngabo bezimele ngelo xesha bendingakwazi ukuba ndithethe nabo. Abanye babo abangazange babafumana ixesha lokubaleka babulawa.
During the period from the 12th to the 15th of August, you didn't even issue a press statement condemning the violence, did you?
Azange uveze i-statement kwi-press apho uthi wena anihambelani nalo qolo. NUM siloko simi kwinto eyedwa njengoba sendiyiphendulile loo mbuzo.
Believes that you can add numbers by embarking on violence.
asinakuvuyiswa into yokokuba kusale kukho abahlolokazi amadoda abaswelekile ngokuthi sifumane imemba. Siyitshilo le nto yokuba i-NUM ngabantu abalandela imigaqo ebekiwe okokungasenziwa ngolulu. Sicacile okokuba i-NUM imiphi yiyo ekade incedisa aba bantu abafuna ukuya phambili ngoba isithi istrike esisingekho emthethweni sinobungozi bokubakho izinto ezingenzeka njengoba kuchaziwe phaya. I-NUM nangoku isemi-out.
So it was a simple question. You didn't issue a press statement during the period from the 12th to the 15th of August condemning the violence.
Statements were issued by the union around this matter from to launch the 15th. I went to SAF and so the sheet is put clear for
Kudala isenza leyo ngxelo i-NUM kusuka kwizehlakalo zaseimpala nakuyo lena yiso isizathu esezokuba nge-15 ndiye phaya ndiyobeka kakuhle ngokucacileyo imbono ze-NUM.
if maybe that can happen, maybe you can contact statements NUM made or interviews. I don't have that with me. I know NUM stood clearly against violence, were against people getting killed, were against illegal strikes.
Unesidingo ke ndingayumva ndiyojonga ezo statements ndazenza nee-interviews kodwa ke kuzo zonke kuzawucaca okokuba thina njenge-NUM sithi kudushe phantsi ngodushe phantsi ngokubulala abantu phantsi ngokhanqalazo kwangokwemthethweni.
Well, I'm sure if there was such a statement, you will show it to us. So we haven't seen one.
Asikaziboni ke nokustatement esinjalo xa sikhona
Statements issued by NUM, do you put them up on the websites for people to see?
Statement ezivezwa yi-NUM ziyezifakwe kwi-website okokuba umntu
Yes, I do, Chairperson, but the point of it is I did not prepare.
No, I understand. So if there's any statement that Ms. Barnes wants to see, she or her attorney can go to your website.
You can see
Your website, your statements are arranged chronologically. So if they wish to study your statements at the relevant time, they can do so. And if there's something that's material, they can then raise it with you in cross-examination. You finish the evidence already, they find something that's important. So you recall, so it can be done. That's it.
we had press conferences even on the day of the 16th. NUM had a press conference where
i-statement abazenzayo ziyangena na kwi-website ewe bangazijonga xa bekhona kodwa uthi nange-16 kukho i-statement asenzayo lokubene entweni eyodwa ke i-NUM uzawucaca apho kokuba abahambelani nodushe ukubulawa kwabantu nayo yonke into ejongela phantsi umthetho wezisebenzi wakuleli lizwe.
Thank you, sir. We'll certainly have a look at your website.
Uza kuyijonga iwebsite yakho. Enkosi.
Now, if I can take you to page 4, paragraph 15 of your statement.
Yes.
You say there that when you left the meeting with local management on Sunday, the 12th of August, you stayed in touch with your local NUM officials for the next few days and they kept you informed of the events that were taking place. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Ewe kunjalo.
Now, I'd like to take you to Exhibit QQ2. Perhaps before I ask you about that exhibit, I asked you last week.
You also give me time to check figure 2. I don't have them in the chronology. You may be having them because you knew what you were going to ask questions. I'm sure you were clear prepared I would be.
I'll certainly give you an opportunity, sir. But before I take you to the document itself, can I just check with you that when I asked you last week whether you'd heard the rumor that was doing the rounds that 2 people had been killed as a result of the incident which took place at the NUM offices on Saturday, the 11th of August, you said you had not heard that rumor. Is that correct?
The question could be repeated.
Last week I said to you that a rumor started that 2 people had been killed as a result of the incident which took place at the NUM offices on Saturday, the 11th of August. You said you had not heard that rumor. I'm not talking about the period from the 12th to the 15th of August.
Kuthiwa kukho ingxelo ekhona phaa iiruma zokuthi kukho abantu ababini abaye babulawa phaya ngaseofisini eno kulawo malanga phambi kokuba singena kule system. Ubuyazi loo nto.
As I said, the details of that incident were brought to me by the president of AMCU, who put it to me that we have killed 2 people on the day in question.
On the table ngupresident we-AMCO kokuba sibulele abantu ababini ngaloo mini.
Yes, we established that, sir. We've established that you knew nothing about that incident from the 12th to the 15th.
Ungenalwazi ngaloo
The
nto.
question is different. The question is, did you hear the rumor that 2 people had been killed in that incident?
Uthi nje into yayithethwa ngabanye abantu iruma nje wawuvile ukuba khona abantu ababini
We
ababini.
establish our local leadership when they present issues to national leadership to verify the information that they give us. When the incident I have referred of people killed, the 2 security people I was present on the day of triple outlaws, and all the others, including that of 12 others, were given because we are not dealing with rumors, because rumors in most cases cannot be based on truth. And I think this commission form can be.
Uthi ke umhlekazi apha siye sithethe nabo aba bantu phaya kokuba yonke into abayivayo mabenze inyaniseko phambi kokuba ipapashwe loo nto ngoba le nto ndibuza yona yokuva nge-rumors ayivamisile ukuthi kube khona nyani apho njengekomishini izawuvumelana nam. Zonke izinto endithethe ngazo ukubulawa kwaba bababini nokubulawa kwathwala yonke into bekuyinto abasenze ngayo isiqiniseko phambi kokuba bayithethe.
Yes, it would be correct rumors if they were false, wouldn't it?
Andithi xa bekukho iingxelo ezinjengezo ziyingelona inyaniso bendifuna ukuba niyilungise correct loo nto.
As a human, I'm cautious. And I think what the goal should be that rumors should be dangerous. And people who hear of them may take them as true and make decisions. And as a human, we have to avoid people reporting on rumors.
Njenge-union ke siye sibe siqaphele itsho kokuba asisebenzi ngentwenje keruma ngoba loo nto ingathi beyingozi umuntu uva nje into ithetha ngabanye abantu abese enza isigqibo phezu kwaloo nto ayivile kwamanye amaxesha ingeyona inyaniso.
All right, well, let's look at what happened. Let me take you to Exhibit QQ2, and I'll explain to you what it is, because you may not
Ubhekele exhibit QQ2 izachazela ukuba ubuza ntoni.
The background is there was an incident on Monday, the 13th of August, where at the railway line at London, where there was an incident that happened between a group of striking workers and the police, and as a result of that incident, 2 policemen were killed and 3 strikers were killed. Are you aware of that incident?
Kuthiwa isehlakalo esenzeka phaya ngasesiporweni apho amapolisa afika khona baqhankqalaza. Kuthe emva kokuba sekuba khona abantu ababili abeswelekayo, unolwazi ngaloo nto? Ewe, ndinolwazi ngalawo mapolisa amabili asweleka ngaloo nto.
You weren't aware that 3 strikers were also killed on that day in the same incident?
Awuzange uve kokuba abaqhankqalazi abathathu nabo basweleka khona apho.
I'm not sure it's 3, maybe 2, plus civilian.
Abaqhankqalazi ababili ke nomnye umntu nje umhlali.
Including those of the people who may have been killed were made, but I don't have a real info what incident really happened.
Ndaxelelwa ke noma ndingenalo ulwazi olupheleleyo ngabantu abasweleka apho kweso sehlakalo.
Yes, so I know you weren't there, and I'm just drawing your attention to the incident, which you obviously became aware of subsequently, just in an attempt to introduce this document.
Ndiyayazi okokuba ungekho apho, ndizama nje okokuba ndichazele ukuba le document iphathelene nantoni.
Yes, I think that is confirmed my statement I made during the interview on the 15th that 2 policemen have been killed, and I agree with you that other people may have been killed, but I don't have details of how it happened.
Ndifezileke kulaa ntetho sasinayo phaya okokuba ndifektywa kwasweleka amapolisa amabili nabanye abantu, kodwa andinanyaniselo ephelele.
What this document is, sir, it's a transcript of a conversation that took place between the group of striking workers and General Mpembe on Monday, the 13th of August.
I-QQ esithethe ngayo ke yinto eyabhalwa kwintetho eyayikhona phakathi kukaGeneral Mpembe nabaqhankqalazi abizana nabo phaa.
Yes.
Ewe,
Look at page 9 of the document.
asijonga kupage 9.
I've got that, yes.
Ewe, ndithethe.
This is one of the striking workers speaking to General Mpembe, and he says the following. On Saturday, when we came back, the mine security shot at us, together with the people from Num, and killed 2 of our people. That is the reason why we are carrying these weapons. We did not fighting with anybody. Do you see that?
Uthi ke lo mqhankqalazi akho silwa naye thina ezizixhobo siziphethe ngesizathu xa sibuya phaya amapolisa ama-security asemayini asidubula nabantu benum, yiko nje siphethe ezi zixhobo asibi nam.
And then if you go to page 11 of the same document,
Page 11, the same document, kuyo lo ncwadi.
it says the person from Num is the one who shot at us. He killed 2 of our people. Do you see that? Just near the top of the page.
Phaya phezulu ngumntu wenum lo wabulala ababini bethu.
Now, did you not hear, sir, from your people on the ground that this was being said?
Awuzange uyibheke le nto kwabantu bakho bombutho.
The aircraft has killed 2 people from strikers. Is that the question?
Umbuzo uthi ndive kubantu benum okokuba abantu benum ngabo abadubule abaqhankqalazi ababili bababulala.
I'm checking chapters. I want to hear before I answer.
Phambi kokuba ndibuze lo mbuzo ndicacela ukuba yintoni endibuzayo.
Yes. That this is what the strikers were saying. Did you not hear this?
Ewe, kusho kanjalo lo ubhale apha. Awuzange uyive loo ntetho.
Unfortunately, I didn't hear that because, as I'm saying, on page 84 of the security personnel who were covering the strikers when they were turning to Bambi, and the reasons he gave are contrary to the reasons given by this striker, your question. I didn't hear that.
Andiyivanga kakuhle le ntetho yakho. Xa ujonga istatement se-security officer eyayihamba naba bantu xa kuthiwa bayosisa i-office benum, iphambene intetho yayo kunale ivezwa kulo mntu othethayo.
I can take you then to Exhibit 002.
Asiya ku-exhibit 002.
go to Exhibit LL,
Exhibit LL.
Yes, the interview.
that's right, it's the transcript of the interview that you referred to.
Denial of the interview.
Now, if you go to page 13 of Exhibit LL,
Yes,
Page 13.
you'll see that at the top of that page, Mr. Gwanda refers to a caller that phoned in and talked about the incident at the NUM office.
yes.
Ukuqala uthetha nomuntu wayemtsalele uMnxeba ngento eyenzeke phaya ofisini le-NUM.
Mr. Gwanda says now a little earlier, there was a witness who spoke to one of our reporters. He says there was a march on Friday, and when we went past the offices of the NUM, something like that, we were fired upon. And you then asked what happened. Do you see that?
We are born out.
What happened? And Mr. Sequoia then answers line 9 and following.
Uthi umama Bansungu, umhlekazi uSokwane wabuza ukuthi kwenzeke ntoni, uthi uChairperson hayi ubani lo wabuza lo mbuzo.
So yes, Mr. Gwanda is telling you what he's heard from this caller and is asking you what happened. Do you see that?
Yes, exactly.
Ubona bese buza wena kwakwenzeka ntoni apho ndiyayibona loo nto.
And you then say that, you know, when people tell lies after the lives of 10 innocent people, and you then say that you think Amku is not telling the truth. Do you see that?
Sithi wena uyayibona loo nto kodwa ngokubona kwakho amkwayithethi nyani apho.
But surely, Mr. Zakwani, you were in no position to dispute this at this time. You have said to us that you had no details of what happened on the 11th of August. Isn't that correct?
Njengoba sitsho ukuba ungenalwazi ukuba kwenzekani mhla ka-11 ungayazi ukuba ungayikhanyela ke le nto lezo
Disputing on that day, Chairperson.
andichazela ukuba yintoni ndandingavumelani nayo ngaloo mntu. Into sasithetha ngayo phaya, President we-AMCU uthi aba bakhankalazi babeyogqitha nje ofisini le-NUM. Xa bengajike laa ndawo akho nto sokokuba xa beya estadium bayogqitha phaya eofisini le-NUM. Sasithetha ngayo.
No, sir, this is the first time that you hear about this. This has not yet been mentioned in the interview. It is the very first time that you ever hear about this on your version. And you accuse the caller and Mr. Matunjwa of telling lies, but on your own version you know nothing about what happened on the 11th of August.
The point he's making, as I understand it, is to say the allegation was they were walking past the NUM offices on the way to the stadium. He says that that's not true, because you don't have to go past the NUM offices to go to the stadium.
Yes, I understand.
That's
And this allegation is made later. This is in terms of time, the very first time that you hear of this allegation, according to you.
That's not my private response. I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. Gwanda, 13 from line 3 is reporting what someone who telephoned SAFM and spoke to a reporter had said. And what he says is this. Little earlier on, there was a witness who spoke to one of our reporters. He says there was a march on Friday, and when we went past the offices of the NUM, something like that, we were fired upon what happened. And that's when we take it further. Now,
inkazelo ebekwa ngugcinisihlalo ithi xa uyifunda kakuhle le nto iyenzakala phaya okokuba lo wafuna wathi kukwala begqitha eofisini le-NUM xa kwenzeka yonke le nto.
Agree, Chairperson. The connection
to be fair to Ms. Barnes, I thought that passage actually said in terms that they were on the way to the stadium and they went past. It doesn't say that. So when I intervened and told Ms. Barnes that she wasn't understanding the answer,
bona bebeya estadium uye ongayivanga kakuhle uyaxolisa kumama ubanzi.
What is being debated here is what happened on Friday the 10th, not Saturday the 11th.
Yes.
Into ethethayo apha isehlakalo lwesihlanu ngasengu-10 ayizokuna-11.
Is the witness didn't know anything about what happened on either Friday or Saturday. Therefore, it is the question asked is how can you deny that people testified? I think that's the point of the question. I was aware of the fact that they're actually all talking nonsense because the incident that forms the subject of the prison cross-examination happened on the Saturday, whereas on a number of occasions, Mutundwe himself talks about it having happened on the Friday, and also suggested is that someone phoned the SAFM and spoke to the reporter and spoke about something that happened on a Friday. So there's a fair measure of confusion. But I'm not sure that that confusion is a reason for my disallowing this to answer this question. But anyway, she's heard the discussion between us, as has the witness, and presumably they can all proceed, or both of them, in a focused way from now on.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Zakwani, a little later in the transcript, and we'll get to it, there's a debate about where the workers were marching to and which direction they were coming from, but that comes later. This is the first time you hear about an incident at the NUM office, and I put it to you that you had no basis on which to accuse the caller and Mr. Mutundwa of lying about the incident, since on your own version you did not have information. Would you like to comment?
Chairperson, I would like again to say that there is, I agree, that the dates are wrong. On page 13, I clearly said, who is not telling the truth, not the caller. I was saying that the president of AMCO at that point was alleging that people were marching past NUM offices towards Kenya, or dealing with what would have happened, or dealing with the direction they were supposed to take if the incident go to another road. It was debated at that point.
apha ke mna bendiphendula intetho yakapresident amko bendingaphenduli lo obefowunile ndithi akathethi inyaniso xa ethi aba bantu bebegqitha ngoba kungekho sidingo sokuba bagqithe phaya kwiofisi le-amko xa beya noma kuphi la babeya khona.
So Mr. Mutundwa hasn't said it yet. It's only the caller who said it at this time. And it's in response to Mr. Grant telling you what the caller has said that you say you know when people tell lies.
uthi apha umathundu bengekayivezi loo ntetho ubethetha ngelo xesha yilo mntu wayefowunelwe ukwala owathi wena uyaxoka.
Would you like to comment on that?
Unempendulo ongayibeka
My question is that I was debating with Mr. Matundwa, and the issue of the call was made by Mr. Kwala.
le yalo befowunile yavezwa ngumhlekazi ukwala kodwa ke mna yam impendulo yayijongiswe kumathundu.
So you've earlier told us that when you spoke to Mr. Barber on Sunday the 12th, he said that there had been a previous attempt to invade the NUM offices. Those were your words. So for all you know, this could have happened. Isn't that correct? For all you knew at the time, what the caller was saying could have happened. Isn't that correct?
uyathi apha umhlekazi ongasekho yubhongo waxelela okokuba kuyakhona inzame nangaphambilini zokuhlasela eli ofisi kodwa kungenalwazi laloo nto uqale ukuyiva phaa sekuthethwa xa lo mntu efowuni.
I didn't have to telling me of the stadium and where any offices are. But dealing with the issue that you didn't need to go to any office if you didn't want to where you came your marching.
Pendulo bendiyibeka ke nokokuba ayiyonyani leyo nto kokuba kwakuhanjwa phaya ngesizathu sokuthi kuyiwe noma kuphi la bebaya khona ngoba kungekho sizathu sokuba bagqithe phaya kwiofisi le-NUM xa besiya apho. Leyo mpendulo ndandiyinika.
If you go on in Exhibit LL, sir, to page 16,
Yeah, go 16.
I think that this report and the way the dates and times were presented and how it flew would leave the impression that for the first time the matter was mentioned. But my point to you is that I respect the fact that the matter of the March admin office was mentioned before. I get what you're saying that it only referred to here. And I still stand by the fact that in the discussion, when I spoke of Apple not telling the truth, I was referring to the fact that the March was supposed to work with admin officers.
ibiyavela le nto phambilini okokuba kwakumatshwa kusiwa phi. Into endandiyithetha ke mna ngelo xesha yintetho yokokuba ugqitha phaya ofisini le-NUM kwangesona isidingo xa besiya kule ndawo bebatsho ukuba baya.
The point is, sir, that, and I'll put it to you, again, you had no basis to dispute what Mr. Matunjwa was saying, did you?
Uthi ke bengekho sizathu ukubona uyikhanyele le nto yayithethwa ngumathunjwa ngelo xesha.
My only basis is that I know the man. And when they talked to him, he could not put out what he was saying.
Uthi ndinolwazi ngale ndawo ndiyayazi mayini ukuba ime kanjani. Xa ndiyithetha loo nto akakwazanga uba ikhanyele.
Now, Mr. Matunjwa has already given evidence in this commission of inquiry, and you indicated that you were not present while he gave his evidence. Is that correct?
Uthe ungekho ngeli xesha mina apho umathunjwa ndithi.
But not being present is true that the process itself was broadcast on television. I was able to follow what was happening.
Ewe bendingekho apha kodwa ke yayivela le nto kuthelevishini. So zazi okokuba kwenzeka ntoni.
Good. Then you will know that it was not put to Mr. Matunjwa during his evidence before this commission that AMCU had been responsible for the killing of security guards on the 12th of August, correct?
Ayizange ibekwe kumathunjwa kokuba yi-AMCU le yabulala aba bantu i-security officers ezimbini.
In the commission, I was not able to answer such questions
Andinokwazi ukwenza
because the commission can show that what I picked was only what I saw in the snippets of the news, and the news don't go into details.
into endiyazi ukuba ndixele yileyo ehamba ivela maxesha athize. I-TV ayivezi yonke into njengoba isenzeka.
I thought you said you watched it on TV.
So can you repeat the question?
I misunderstood your earlier answer that you watched the proceedings of the commission on the television.
No. I said I only saw the commission through the snippets of the news.
Uthi ubecinga uba yonke le nto ayithethayo kuyive kwi-TV uthela hayi ezo zazivela kwi-TV kuphela.
Anyway, I will tell you, sir, that it was what I've just indicated to you was not put to Mr. Matunjwa in his evidence. Do you agree with me?
Chairperson, I don't agree to that question because I was part of the commission as to say yes or no.
Andiyazi uba ndivume kanye nendikhanyele kanjani ngoba bendingekho apha ndiyiyonxenye yale commission.
Suggest that is it that he was here when Mr. Matunjwa was cross-examined, or was he? Were you here when Mr. Matunjwa was cross-examined?
No, that's no, it's not.
Njengoba esenditshilo
Put to Mr. Matunjwa, but if he says he doesn't, I don't know if you can take it much further.
ayinethi ke loo nto oyibuzayo ngoba ubengekho xa umathunjwa ethetha.
So, if there was evidence, if you had evidence that AMCU was responsible for the killing of the two security guards on Sunday, the 12th of August, you would have given that evidence So you said on the top of page 14, 2 of the security guards were killed by what I will call AMCU. You said that on national radio in the absence of any evidence. Do you think that is responsible as a president of a union?
Interview naye upresident we-AMCO apho bekwazi khona ukuziphendulela wayivuma noko into yokuba benoqhagamshelana naba bantu bebayile phaya bathetha ndathi ke mna ibifanele AMCO ibe nolwazo ngezi zehlakalo.
So will you retract this statement now? Will you retract the allegation that AMCU was responsible for the death of 2 security guards now?
Uzimisele okokuba uqiqise loo ntetho yokokuba i-AMCO le yabulala aba bantu.
Before the witness answers that particular question, this is based on the 2 lines at the top of page 14. Regard must be had to the phrase organized march. And
Ms. Barnes read the passage. She actually stopped before the end of the line. Perhaps it would be helpful if I read the whole thing out, and then you can go on with your, for those in the auditorium who don't understand the debate between us. What Mr. Tsukwana said is this. Mr. Gwala says initially, what happened, tell me the truth, and he says, this is because he says AMCU is not telling the truth. The fact is the security guards of management requested by NUM to go and guard our officers after the meeting was held in the stadium. Mr. Gwala on Friday, Mr. Tsukwana on Friday. And those security guys were the people who were at the offices. 2 of the security guys were killed by what I will call AMCU and organized march. Mr. Gwala then interrupts. On Friday, Mr. Tsukwana at no offices, yes. Mr. Gwala, how were they killed? Mr. Tsukwana, they were in their cars, guys came, they stabbed them, they burnt those cars. I saw one of the cars being pulled from the shaft, and Mr. Gwala there says, and they were burnt by AMCU members. Mr. Tsukwana says this, I believe now, having heard from the president of AMCU, that AMCU instigated this march, it is the style they've been using before. They did this thing in Impala, they are doing it again. And then Mr. Mutuntra then deals with the matter. So that's the full passage on which this cross-examination is based.
Yes.
Do you wish to know what exactly is the point you want to make?
Well, the point
for those in the audience can follow the point you're going to make.
There's with respect a difference between a proposition that has a full stop at the end of AMCU and that one that has regard to it being an organized march or AMCU instigated march, which it quite clearly from the context states.
Ms. Barnes, what do you say?
Yes, thank you.
Barnes, what do you say about that point?
Well, the whole passage has now been read. Perhaps I can reformulate my question to the witness.
Ngokuthi chairperson ayifunde yonke ke le passage kuzofika apho aphendula khona umama uBanzi uzawubuza umbuzo wakhe ngenye indlela.
Will you retract any allegation that AMCU was responsible for any acts of violence that have been referred to on those particular days?
Uzimisa ngokuba ufokus intetho yokokuba onke oludushe labangela i-AMCU.
Chairperson, I would like to say this, that it was a review held informed by the admission by AMCU that they have been in the action with the strikers on Monday. I never accused AMCU of killing. I said AMCU could have known of this march since they are part of those interactions. I don't know if this is what I should withdraw, because I was saying this, that it is the same cover paper of what happened in Impala, where strikers will be called a federal border, but immediately the strike ends, AMCU will be the union with force to come forward. I don't know that I would withdraw that.
can I try to put the point clearly?
Please, Chair.
What I'm saying to you is this. There was a march. You say that it was organized by AMCU. The march was on the Friday. The security guards were killed by people on the Sunday.
So there is security in
Now, it's clear from the passage that was read that you believed that the people who killed the security guards were AMCU people. You based that belief on two things, as I understand it. Firstly, the statement that the march on the Friday had been instigated by AMCU, and secondly, the fact that it was, as you put it, the style they'd been using before. They did this thing in Impala, they're doing it again. So you inferred that because this is what happened at Impala, and your understanding was it had been done by AMCU people at Impala, you thought this was now a repetition of the same kind of conduct at London, again by AMCU people. Now, it's clear from what's been put that this was your inference. You didn't have direct knowledge that that was so. It was an inference you were drawing. And I think what Ms. Barnes wants you to deal with is in view of the fact it was an inference and you had no solid evidence to back it up, are you now prepared to withdraw the statement you made of what you believed because there isn't any evidence, direct evidence, which supports what you said? Is that your question, Ms. Barnes? If I got it wrong, please correct me.
That's correct. Thank you, Chair.
Umama uBhansi uthi ngokuba akanabo ubungqina opheleleyo umhlekazi uzokwana okokuba abantu babulawa i-AMCU zingcingo zakhe nje zokokuba uyacinga ukuba le nto lena yayenzeka ngolu hlobo phaya eImpala kwathi emva koko le nto yazokwenzeka apha elonmini ngoba wacinga ukuba ngoba yaziwe ngaba phaya kufanele okokuba yenziwe u-AMCU. Uthi ke umama uBhansi uzimisele na ukurhoqisa loo ntetho ngoba engenabo ubungqina obuphathekayo bokuba yi-AMCU le yenza eso senzo.
Chairperson, if I'm obliged, but I would like to put this that if that is the view I held, I was not the only one who held that view. It's not shown that one of the executive of ONMIN held that view, based on the fact that the scenario and on that day in question, the president of AMCU admitted to the fact that AMCU was being to the mountain. And Chairperson, I never said AMCU killed, I said AMCU was behind the march.
Nandathi AMCU le esemva kwale match xa ndicinga kokuba i-AMCU yenza yonke le nto akusindi mndoda endicinga ngolu hlobo. Omnye wee-executives zaphaya elonmini naye uneengcingo ezifana nezo ngoba naku i-AMCU iye yavuma okokuba iye yaya phaya entabeni yayothetha naba bantu.
Chairperson, there's poor recording of the discussion because if you go to page 14, below those, on the second sentence, it's all finished. Nobody here can be able to say, to know what I was saying beyond that because there are dots, which means that the recording was poor.
Enye ke into xa ufunda phaya ku-page 14 ihambahambe le nto ibese iyaphela kube khona izidoti phaya
Of the 15
engalwanga.
The only leader of all unions who have been to the copy by admittance of the AMCU president was the AMCU general secretary. And they were saying the fact that you are interacting with these workers, you could have known what they were planning to do.
Ndisithi ke mna ngoba kude kube leyo mini kwabakho ingxelo yokokuba yinye kuphela i-union eyabanoqhagamshelana nabo abantu i-general secretary ye-AMCU yiyo eyaya phaya. Ndathi ke mna ngoba bamnantetho benifanele ukwazi okokuba kuzokwenzeka ntoni.
I only lead the Chairperson AMCU only with the match, not with the matters.
I-AMCU andiyifakanga apha ekubulaleni ndithe mne ndifaka ezindabeni zematch okokuba yiyo le yayenze le match.
Mr. Sequoia, that's not strictly accurate. Let me put again to you the point that Ms. Barnes is making. The footer page 13, you say, those security guys were the people who were at the offices. Two of the security guards, now listen very carefully to the following words. Two of the security guys were killed by what I will call AMCU and organized march. It's true that the sentence wasn't finished, but as far as the sentence had gone, you had said two of the security guards were killed by what I will call AMCU and organized march. So there was a statement, admittedly incomplete, but there was a statement that the security men were killed by people you called AMCU people. That's the statement that Ms. Barnes is asking you about. So, Ms. Barnes, do you want to ask something further about it before the witness gets a chance to answer?
ukuba iyo into endiyibuzayo le ivela ngu-secretary xa sifunda apha usithi khona uthi aba-security officer ababili babulawa ngale march yayi-organizwe yi-AMCU.
Chairperson, I would not find it difficult to say this, that I cannot produce that evidence, but I believe that when this process is concluded, the weapons are never who are behind the march. They are not anyone. I cannot prove to say it as AMCU, but Chairperson, I'm not the only person who had that view, that this process smacks of AMCU footprints as informed by incident of Impala. For the second person, I would like to say, if what I said on that day doesn't sit well with AMCU, that I said they're behind the march, because at present, I can't prove that I withdraw that statement.
Ndizakuzwithdraw ke ngoku eso statement ngoba ndingenabo ubungqina ngoku obubonisa loo nto. Kodwa utshilo kumhlekazi uzokwana ukuba ekugqibeleni ikomishini kuzawucaca okokuba ngubani osemva kwayo yonke le nto yenzekayo apha. Uthi ngoba xa ujonga izenzakalo zangale zifotokopi yale eyenzeke kweli cala.
Mr. Sukwana, it's not as simple as that. There are actually 2 days and 2 incidents that we're busy with. The one is the march on the Friday. The second is the killing of the security men actually on the Sunday. There was confusion in the radio program.
Yes.
And I think Ms. Barnes is concentrating on the Sunday. And presumably, although it's not for me to put words in her mouth, presumably she may say, never mind what happened on the Friday, it may well have been an AMCU march on the Friday, but I'm interested in the Sunday. And she's really trying to get you to withdraw what you said. I know you believe what you said, but that's a different question. She's trying to get you to withdraw what you said about what happened on the Sunday. Am I correct, Ms. Barnes?
That's correct, Chair.
ayixolayo yileyo kokuba urhoqise intetho yakho yento wayithetha ngesehlakalo sangeca imini yecawa.
I repeat to say this, that one, if you notice, I'm not the only person who had the view at that time.
Ndizawuthi ke
The dates were mixed up.
enye ke into kokuba amadeyithi ayahlanganiswa apho.
I was not accusing AMCU of having killed. I was accusing AMCU of having instigated the march that led in the death.
Andizange nditsho kokuba yiyo nyani AMCU eyababulala aba bantu kodwa ke ndityhola ngokuthi yiyo
Chairperson, I withdraw any view that may say that I accused AMCU of organizing march that led to the 2 deaths.
andithi ke
Especially with the march, we proceed with the killing on the Sunday. But
eyo ntetho ukuba AMCU eyaorganize imali.
what you now say may well solve the problem, because as I understand you to say, you weren't intending to accuse them of being responsible for the killing on the Sunday. If what you said sounded like that, I take it wasn't, you now say that wasn't what you intended. So you have no difficulty withdrawing. That's not what you intended, and you sorry and you withdraw. Would that be fair? Or that's the part in your life that you're not happy with?
Because, Chairperson, I want to say, Chairperson, the senior counsel put words to say, I accuse AMCU of killing.
Senior counsel yet, but I'm sure she's
the counsel seems to say that I accused AMCU of murder.
Uthi ke yena mina ndityhole AMCU kokuba yabulala ngenjongo aba
I agree, Chairperson. I put the point that says this strike, given what the president of AMCU have said during the interview, in my view, and my personal knowledge of how this organization organizes things, the march was organized at their behest. And I'm saying, I withdraw, because I'm only saying this, that I don't said AMCU killed. I said AMCU organized the march that led to the killing.
ndithe AMCU yiyona
Chairperson.
eyaba imbangela
Hoping that when the commission is over,
ke loo ntetho yam kwangoku
therefore will be clear as to who was behind those marches, because in my history chairperson of leading workers, workers hasn't even dream what to do the following day that I did.
ndithi ke ndirhoxisa loo ntetho kodwa ndinethemba lokokuba iyawuvela inyani ekugqibeleni kwale commission ngoba njengobandazi ke njengomrholi wabasebenzi abalali nje abasebenzi baphuphe bemasha ngakusasa kusuke kukho into eyenzekile.
So you also have no evidence that AMCU organized the march, do you?
nobungqina bokuba organized AMCU le
He's already said that. He's read the guide. He was told, he's you've been trying to get him to withdraw the statement about the Sunday, which I think he's just about done. So it may well be that you've achieved what you set out to achieve, and you can move on to the next part. But if is something else that you want to make in relation to this incident, I won't stop you.
Chairman, I just add, because there was a reference to one of the officials of Lonman in this context, I just add the following. The people who can tell us as to AMCO's involvement would presumably be the senior officials of AMCO at Lonman. They've been identified. They in fact went to the copy on the 12th and spoke to the people. We've recently been informed that AMCO does not intend to call them.
Entrances may have to be drawing into the witnesses or we may well have to call them ourselves. We have the power to do so, and if it's necessary, we won't hesitate to use that power. But perhaps Ms. Barnes can continue in the meanwhile.
ive usithi ke umhlakazi ubheke abo abanawubizwa iAMCO njengamanqina uthi uchairperson xa bengababizanga iAMCO njengamanqina yena uzakwenza okokuba babizwe apho.
Mr. Zakwana, at this stage now, at the stage of the SAFM interview on the 15th of August, you know two things. You know, one, that there was an incident at the NUM offices where, as Mr. Barber put it, there was an attempt to invade the office. You know that. And the second thing you know is that it is alleged that people were killed. Is that correct?
Kukho into ezimbini kubosuzazi ngalo xesha xa ufonela umhlakazi ubhongo okokuba kukho izinzame zokumatshela ofisini lika lenum nokuthi besekho abantu ababili abaswelekileyo kunjalo.
When Mr. Kwara was quoting what he heard from a caller, that's again. But the only convention was the fact that what was the march supposed to take?
Into esingevananga ngayo kokuba le march yayifanele ihambe ngeyiphi indlela. Phela lento esikhanyisa esivumelanga ngavumelanga indlela apho yayihamba khona.
I must tell you, on my reading of the transcript, which may be wrong, but on my reading of the transcript, he appears to have known about the march, and he thought he knew who instigated it, and he knew about the killing of the security guards on the Sunday. I could not find the part, I did spend some time looking for it, which indicates that he knew at that stage already that it was alleged that marching strikers had been killed on the Saturday. But if there is a project that I've missed, I'd be grateful for bringing it to my attention. I couldn't see it. It might be you're talking past each other at this stage.
Engasifananga ke apha ngokubona kwami nandifunda lento ubengakabi nolwazi ngelo xesha kokuba kukho abaqhankqalazi ababili abasweleka ngomgqibelo. Ubethetha apha ngento eyayenzeke ngemini yangoLwesihlanu.
Perhaps you can go to page 17, sir, of the transcript.
I'm there already.
See page 17, sendilapho.
There, it's Mr. Matunjwa speaking. It's from line 7. And Mr. Matunjwa is reporting what he's heard from the striking workers. And he says, they say, because there's inverted commas, do you see that? The last sentence in that paragraph. We were shot by NUM, and the demands were not directed to NUM. NUM is not a company, but we were surprised when they are killing us. So you'd heard that. Is that correct?
Wayivala ntetho besisho kokuba bathi bona imfuno zabo zazijongise kumqashi base bedutshulwa yiNUM ukuba iNUM ingena ngani lento ibamangazile nyana.
This is what Mr. Matunja said, yes?
Wentetho kaMathunjwa le.
So presumably at this stage you would have investigated the matter and established the facts and issued a statement. Is that correct?
Suyivile lento ke ubungayi.
It appears from what he's now saying that he heard it for the first time, the allegation that people had been killed at the NUM office. which we now know to be untrue. And he appears to be saying he heard that from the lips of Mr. Matunjwa at the SABC studios on the morning of the 15th. So are you asking him about the possibility of further investigations and a statement to be issued after that?
Studios FM nanoma into wayefanele uphanda phambi kokuba aye phaya.
That's correct, but perhaps if I can summarize up to now, you have information from Mr. Bongo, but no detail. You have a caller alleging that they were fired upon, and you have Mr. Matunjwa saying he's heard from the workers that NUM is killing us. That's the information you have at this stage. Is that correct? 15th of August.
Study on the morning of the 15th of August.
That's correct.
Let me try to detail to you, Council. I will withdraw already.
Right, if you call it junior.
Right. Chairperson, if the council should understand what was happening that day and the call that was made by the callers, it was for both of us to go to the line, make sure that we talk to the strikers. At that point, what was key was to do what we could to stop further death. And Chairperson, I only heard about this alleged death from the mouth of Mr. Matunjwa. And when I left that studio to the mine, we were going there to ensure that we play any role we could in diffusing the situation.
Into sasibizele yona phaya kuyothetha ngayo kokuba sihlangane sikwazi ukwenza inzame zokuba sibuyele emayini sikwazi ukuthetha nabaqhankqalazi kwehlise imoya phaya xa siya phaya kwakule nto leyo kubulawa kwabantu nayo le nto ndiqala ukuyiva xa ivezwa uMathunjwa phaya.
So I understand all of that, Mr. Zukwana, but surely, given the information you now had about this incident that occurred sometime over the weekend at the NUM offices, you would have conducted an investigation to find out what happened. Is that correct?
Kodwa sowuvile le nto kokuba kwenzeke ezi zinto phaya wena ke ubona ukuthi uyophanda phaya ufumanise ukuba
If we checked after or soon after I had, remember in the morning of that Friday, I was supposed to have left the studios to Marikana to verify that, or do you want to know whether NUM did checks to verify these killings?
umbuzo wakho ukuthi ngawo omini ndibuya phaya ukuba kwakufanele ndiye phaya ndiyophanda ukuba kwenzeke ntoni noma ubuzwa kokuba inomyalenzane yajonga yaphanda emva koko kokuba yintoni kahle hle eyenzeka apha.
Sometime after the 15th, with some sense of urgency, presumably, NUM would have conducted an investigation into this. Isn't that correct?
Kufanele kokuba inom kuthi emva komhla ka-15 nje noma kuzo lawo malanga izame ukuqonda kokuba yintoni le yenzeka phaya ethethwa nguMathunjwa phaya.
For reasons where NUM made a submission and presented witnesses was to clarify this commission as to what our information is. NUM did verify that there was no truth to the fact that there were 2 people who were killed on the day in question.
Salenza olo phando sayafumana ke nenyaniso kokuba akonyaniso kule nto ukuba kho abantu ababini abasweleka apho ngalawo mini yikho nje siye senza i-statement ukuzama ukuthi sicacisele le commission ukuba yintoni kahle hle yenzeka.
So you knew, Mr. Zukwana, that the strikers on the Kopi were saying this. Wasn't it important for you to find out at that stage, as soon as you could, what had actually happened?
Andithi ubazi kokuba abaqhankqalazi phaya ekopini bathetha loo nto kwangabalulekanga okokuba wena uthole ufumanise inyaniso msinya.
I don't want to come to conclude that the council is proposing that I would have gone to the copy knowing that I would be killed. But let me answer the question, Chairperson. At that moment, it was clear that any leader of NUM who would approach the copy would be really asking to be killed, as they mentioned that a number has been killed before. And I said that between NUM and the strikers, there was no interaction at all.
Kwakungekho nyani uthetho lalikhona kwakungekho xoko phakathi kwabaqhankqalazi neNUM ngelo xesha bebangafuni ukwenza nanto nathi manditsho kokuba
neyiphi ilungu lenomi officially ayingasuka isiye pha entabeni bengaba ngumuntu oyaphaya ukuba yeni ngicela ukuba ninibulale madoda.
No, sir, I'm not talking about you going to the copy. I'm not suggesting that at all. What I'm saying is that you know there are NUM members on the copy. It's a volatile situation, and they are saying that NUM have shot at their members and killed them. Do you not take steps to find out whether that is correct or not?
Ubusasa kopha entabeni kukho amalungu enu enum awenze nzame zokuba ufumane ukuba inyaniso ithini ukude nabo phaya bayazi inyaniso kokuba yiphi.
Chairperson, in trying to answer that question, is that if we were able to link the reasons why NUM was not able to address those workers, the only reason given by the strikers to the security personnel as to why they are marching to NUM was because NUM was assisting people to go back to work against the decision of the strikers. There's no mention in that statement of the security personnel who was interacting with them as to why they are banning the NUM offices. I can't understand then as to why do we get this view that says there was another reason why the strikers were willing to ban or to do harm to NUM. The second thing is that Chairperson, we've shown that none of our local officials or leaders could interact with the strikers at that point. I don't know how then were they going to be able to verify the reason why. Because the reason they didn't want NUM is because NUM, as per the statement I have read, is that it has assisted and abated those people who wanted to go back to work against that decision.
NUM okokuba yayincedisana nabantu abafuna ukuya enkomeni. Lento osuyithetha ngoku ayikho apha kubunqini. Enye into njengathi ke thina bephethe i-NUM sasingenayo indlela esingathetha ngayo naba bantu kule meko yayikhona ngelo xesha.
If you had investigated, you would have found that there was an incident where shots were fired by NUM members and the two strikers were injured, not killed but injured. You agree with me?
Nayiphanda le nto benizawufumana inyaniso yokokuba abakhankelaba babili badujulwa bona badujula i-NUM noma bangaswelekanga. Andithi kunjalo?
I get the person. I'm saying this, that there are evidence that it seems were given by the strikers. One version is consistent in the statement of Mr. Mutlakholo is that on the day when they marched, if you read point number 5 of his statement, the reason they marched is because they were angry. They want to ban the NUM because NUM has assisted the strikers, the non-strikers to go back to work.
You're not actually answering the question at the moment. I'm concerned that an enormous amount of time is being spent on an issue which may, in the last analysis, not prove terribly helpful to us in answering the questions the President has asked us to answer, but that's another argument later. Let me put to you what I understand Ms. Barnes' point to be, and I'd be grateful if you'd answer it because then we save a lot of time. What Ms. Barnes says to you, if you had investigated this allegation about what happened on the Saturday, you would have discovered a couple of things. You would have discovered, one, that people were marching to the NUM office, not on their way, of course, to the stadium, but coming directly to the NUM office. You would have discovered that shots were fired by NUM people, and you would have discovered that two people were not killed, but two people were injured. What in fact has happened, as we know, that's what your legal team have done. They've investigated what happened, and they've presented evidence as part of NUM's case as to what happened. Now, what Ms. Barnes is busy with is if at the time you had made the investigations that have now been made by your legal team, you would have discovered those three facts that I put to you. And that's the springboard from which he is proposing to ask the next question. You were answering something different. So let her put her next question, and then I will see whether you're answering it. Ms. Barnes, would you like to proceed?
Yinto kahle lebuzwa Miss Barnes okokuba benzile uphando ubezawufumana ezi zinto uchairperson athetha ngazo. njengoba esiveza nje umabhansi uthi ke kodwa makaphendule umbuzo lo ulandelayo.
Well, let me put this to you, Mr. Zakwana, is that up until this commission started, we had no statement from NUM setting out the correct position in relation to what had happened on the 11th. Isn't that correct?
I-commission le iqala ukuhlala bekungekho ngxelo bekungekho statement esivela ku-NUM esasichaza okokuba kwakwenzeke ntoni phaya kunjalo.
I think the chairperson should respect to the question. All statements were made during this commission, and the reason the commission was appointed was to collect such information. I don't know to which structure we were supposed to give that statement.
Zonke statements zenziwe emva kokuba le commission xa besingenzenza ngaphambi kokuba sezinika ubani.
The point seems to be that you haven't issued a statement. They will argue later on that somehow is a point against you. Your side will presumably argue it takes the case no further for the reason you gave, and we will then have to look at it and see if there's anything in the point other way. But I would have thought, Ms. Bond, if you forgive me, that you've got all the juice that you can possibly get out of this particular lemon. You might like to pick up another one.
Mr. Zakwana, at the meeting that you held at the offices of Lonman on the 15th of August, the meeting at which General Mpembe spoke to you, he indicated to you not only that there were NUM members that were on the COPI, which you already knew, but also that NUM members were part of the leadership of the strike on the COPI. Is that correct?
Nithetha noGeneral Mpembe ndithetha nge-15 akuvazanga nje okokuba kukho amalungu e-NUM phaya entabeni kwavezwa okokuba kubarholi abakhona phaya kwii-leaders ezikhona kukho amalungu e-NUM.
Yes, correct.
Ewe kunjalo.
Now, surely what you could have done and should have done is find out who those people were and attempt to meet with them privately.
Andithi into yokuyenza ke ukuthi wenza ukuba uzama ukufumana uba ngobani abo nikwazi ukuba nithethe nabo okhusini.
I think that we thought we had the time to, because I was present when Chana was being questioned. Limpofu made a statement to the fact that those workers were in brotherhood.
Wathi umhlekazi uMpofu xa eveza apha wathi kwabakhona ukuhlangana.
And I'm sure he raised that from the background of what he has done in investigating.
Ndiyabona ayithetha loo nto ke ngokuthi uyenza uphando olunjengolo umhlekaMpofu.
In any strike situation, Ms. Blas, once you call a section of strikers, you aim to break them. And there's no way they would allow that to happen. But as the situation, it was not even possible for any leader of anyone to come near the copy.
Inyani ke ukuthi kwakunzima nyani ukuba noba ngeliphi nje ilungu labaphathi be-NUM likwazi ukufikelela phaya entabeni ngelo xesha.
I'm not saying, Mr. Zakwana, that you should have walked up to the copy. I'm saying that you should have found out the names of the NUM people that were leaders of the strike, and you should have made an attempt to meet with them privately.
Ndithi xa suvile okokuba kukho amalungu e-NUM aphaya kule leaders ezikhona phaya kumkhankalazo ubungazama ukuthola ukuba ngobani apha nikwazi ukuthi ke thethe nabo.
General Fowler made it clear to us that an urgent action was needed.
Mandiyibeke ngolu hlobo okokuba uGeneral Mpembe wayibeka okokuba kunyanzelekile okokuba makuthathwe amagxathu ngokutshetshayo.
And we to do things as per his own dictates.
Kwakufanele apho senze izinto njengoba ebona yena njengendlela ayibeka ngayo.
It was not for anyone to decide maybe to call for a meeting of our own stewards. It was for all leaders who were there to meet with all the leaders of the strikers.
Kwakunyanzeleka ukuba bonke abahola abalapho bakwazi ukuba badibane nababe abahola istrike kukenge yona i-NUM kwakufanele ibize abayo abantu.
Did you establish the names of the people that were NUM members that were leading the strike?
Amagama abo babevezwa kokuba bangabaholi bangamalida phaya amagama abo wayafumana uba ngobani.
For one reason.
Mandisho kokuba ngesizathu esisodwa nje.
I could only do that if was having access to the local leadership who know those workers.
Bendingekwazi ukuyifumana leyo ngxelo ukuba ngobani phaya xa abaholi abababula nginci bakhona.
I was at a situation where the people who were supposed to assist with that information were hiding.
Imeko yayinjena ke ngolo hlobo abantu bebengaba noncedo lokwenza njalo bonke bebasekuzimeleyo.
And the agency we were having there was to ensure that the sooner we address the strikers before it was dark could have meant that to go around and demanding who was leading, not leading the strike would have taken more time.
Ukubeke sazama ukwenza zonke ezo nzame zokufumana uba ngubani nobani phaya kwakuzaze kube ngurhatya ke kube nzima okokuba sikwazi ukuya phaya.
Now, when General Mpembe asked you if you would go and address the strikers on the Corp, you agreed to do so, correct?
Wavuma xa uMpembe cela ugeneral okokuba uzaya phaya entabeni wathi ewe ngayo.
In Chairperson, I have put to say, when I arrived at the offices and this proposal was made, there was an objection from our local stewards to allow me to the copy, giving reasons. That was the reason why we had to go for a caucus. And after caucusing, we agreed that going to the copy and do everything we could to prevent any situation that may prevail later.
Ndiye ndabeka apha ekuqaleni okokuba xa ndifika apho abantu bethu be-NUM bathi kum notshe sukuya phaya entabeni kwaze kwadinga ukuba kuyoba khona le caucus. Kuthi emva kwe-caucus ke savumelana okokuba makwenziwe yonke into engaba ikhona ukwenziwa ukuze kwehlise olu dushe.
Yes, it was a difficult situation, but you were nevertheless prepared to go and try to do everything that you could.
Ndiyavuma okokuba maxonga imeko kodwa wavuma okokuba ekugqibeleni uba ayozawuzama ukunceda.
The reason Chairperson we agreed in the morning during the interview under LLL, was because we were made aware, not only by the callers, that the only thing we could do as leaders is to ensure that we persuade the strikers to disarm and desist from using violence.
Into eyenzeka ke phaya xa kule interview ngaphandle kweemfonomfono ezazifumana phaya kwenziwa isigqibo sokuba masizame okokuba kwenziwe noma yintoni ekhona okokuba kuzame ukuncengwa aba bantu okokuba babeke phantsi izixhobo.
Yes, Mrs. Zakwanda, we agree at least that this approach was very important. And I put it to you, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, that in order to have the best chance of persuading the people to go back to work, you had to try to do two things. One, try to win their trust, and two, try to give them a way out. In other words, a way of dealing with their grievances. That you'd agree with that?
Into ezimbini ezazibalulekile kwadingeka okokuba uzukwazi ukubana wafanele uwine ithemba labo abantu bakuthembe ukwazi nokubanika indlela okokuba apha sizawuqhubeka ke ngolu hlobo.
Let me say, it is true. Before you can trust people to stop whatever they are doing, they should trust you that you are with them. The Transcript Commission have been shown videos that detailed what the other party was doing. The party represent Ms. Bonds.
Mandithi ke apha xa ufuna ukuba ukwazi uthetha nabantu mawufumane ithemba labo kuqala. Kodwa ke ndizawuthi apha bebabonisa imifanekiso yalaba bantu obamele maphansi ukuba baziphethe ngolu hlobo.
It's more difficult than that. You were going to try to win their trust. When you arrive there, people start singing, how will we kill Num? We hate Num. How will we kill Sekwana? We hate Sekwana. Scarcely a situation in which it's easy to gain anyone's trust.
Uthi xa usiya phaya ke uthe xa ufika phaya wafumana abantu babetha eligwijo lokuba siyayizonda inumu singayibulala kanjani singambulala kanjani uzokwana bakhombisa ukubethemba abo bantu.
Yes, the person I agree with that party. To win their trust, there are two things one could have done.
Ewe ndivumelana nawe Mr. ukuba zimbini into umuntu efanele azenze ukuze ufumane ithemba ukuba uthenjwe ngabo bantu.
That is made against you, Brio. To deny all the allegations made against you before your arrival.
Kufanele ukuba ukhanyele yonke into evele ethethwa ngawe phambi kokuba uye apho.
Or you say to them, I agree with all that you have done, you are good citizens, can we go forward?
Kanene uthi kubo ndivumelana ngayo yonke lento eniyenzile yinhle lento masichubeke.
Basic payment of your own belief as a union.
Apha ke lento ibe kuzoba into engahambelani nenkolelo yethu njenge-union.
For years of being the union in that company, it cannot happen that chairperson anyone trust could have been whisked away. A number of incidents, I believe, happened that led to doubt where NUM is standing, as informed by the statement of the witnesses I referred to. So that was that people woke up and said, we don't like NUM, want to kill it. The fact that some union leaders saw the song tells a lot.
Lento yokuba amalungu akuyo lo mbutho wethu baye bacula eligwisho chaza into eninzi okokuba ayenzekanga nje ebusuku lento ukuba abantu balale baphuphe bathi hayi siyayizonke inkulu into eyenzeka phambi koko.
So what you could have done if you'd got your facts straight is you could have said to the workers, look, no one was killed by NUM on Saturday. That is inaccurate. You could have at least corrected that.
Bungayenzeke loo nto xa ufika phaya kuba uthi hayi ngaqonge lento ukuba kukho abantu abasweleka phaya babulawa yi-NUM akuyonyani leyo.
Sarah Chairperson, I will quote one of a historian I read about. Joseph Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda in Germany. When he said,
Joseph Goebbels.
when a woman is told repeatedly, when no truth is told, the lie becomes the truth. In this case, anyone could not want the copy to diffuse the lie told about it. Only those who are lying have got access to those numbers. Hence, they were angry, they were against anyone, they eager to kill.
Ezokwena ukuba xa ufunda phaya kuGoebbels lo wayeminister of propaganda wayebona ngolo hlobo le nto okokuba xa kubuxoki kuye bathetha bangakanyelwa wonke umuntu uyakholelwa ukuba leyo nto ethethwayo iyinyaniso. Phaya entabeni ke kwakuyinto eyayenzeka le athetha ngayo yayivezwa nguGoebbels.
So it appears that even you didn't know the truth at that stage because you hadn't investigated. Isn't that correct?
Nawe ngokwakho bungazi inyaniso ngelo xesha.
The company was that the flag was illegal, carrying of arms was against any police of this country, that like everyone you want was wrong, killing people cannot be any people's rights, that truth I know.
Le nyaniso endiyibekayo ke bendiyazi le okokuba nimatshe kungekho emthethweni ukuphatha isixhobo akuyonto into exhasene nomthetho ukubulawa kwabantu akufanelanga. Leyo nyani bendiyazi ke.
Chair, I see it's just before 1 o'clock. I'm almost done. I just have one more section to do, but perhaps this would be an appropriate time.
I think it'd be best to deal with it after the lunch adjournment. We will resume it at 1:30 in order to make up for the fact that this is a late start, which we were going to do that anyway.
We will adjourn
at the stage till 1:30.
ngoba siyasabetha lixesha ekuseni.